The night started like any other Friday at the Rusted Tap, a dim-lit bar tucked between a laundromat and an abandoned bookstore in the old downtown district of Ashridge. Neon signs flickered, glasses clinked. The jukebox struggled to play a half-scratchy blues tune. Locals drifted in and out like moths orbiting a dying light. Behind the bar was Lana Quinn, smart, guarded, and no-nonsense, with a smile she only gave when she meant it. She'd inherited the place from her father, who vanished in 2004, leaving behind debts, dusty bottles, and more rumors than memories. The regulars were all there. Benny, the ex-cop who now ran security on his own terms. Angie, a flirty waitress with a penchant for secrets. Marcus, a philosophy major turned bartender with sleeves of regrettable tattoos. And Clay, a mysterious newcomer who'd appeared 3 months ago and never missed a Thursday or Friday since. Tonight, a storm brewed both outside and in, the kind that made people say too much. Around 11:14 p.m., a stranger walked in. Not strange for Ashridge, except this one wore a wire. Not visible, not bulky, but Lana knew the signs. Military posture. Careful eyes. No drink order, just water. He sat in Clay's seat. The bar fell into a low hush. Lana dried a glass and kept her smile neutral. "Can I help you?" The stranger looked around, leaned in slightly. "I think you can. I'm looking for someone." Benny stood from his stool. Angie stopped wiping the counter. Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Wrong bar," Lana said. He reached into his pocket, not for a gun, but a photo. Folded, worn. Lana took it slowly. It was her father. Alive, much older. Beard, glasses, but unmistakable. "I need your help," the stranger said. "He's in trouble, and he's not the only one." The bar erupted with questions, but Lana's eyes stayed fixed on the photo. Outside, thunder cracked, and inside, an old story began again. The rain hadn't stopped by morning. Ashridge was soaked in a grim silver hue as the Rusted Tap sign squeaked and swung under a relentless breeze. The only warmth came from the bar's neon beer signs and the stubborn coffee pot that had seen better days. Lana sat in the office behind the main room, photo in one hand, phone in the other. The stranger had identified himself only as Riley, offering no badge but showing an encrypted message on a secure device confirming federal credentials. NSA, CIA, he wouldn't say which. "He disappeared again," Riley said, nodding toward the photo. 2 weeks ago, off-grid from a secure compound in Utah. "He left something behind, something we think he may have created." "Created?" Lana narrowed her eyes. "My father was a bartender. He was also a code architect. A long time ago, used the Rusted Tap as a front." "You didn't know?" Lana's hand tightened around the glass. Clay entered quietly as if summoned by instinct. "We have company," he said, motioning toward the front. Riley nodded to Lana. "It's not just me who's looking." 2 men stood by the jukebox, staring too long at the outdated playlist. They didn't fit in. Black leather jackets, Bluetooth earpieces, not a drop of sweat despite the humidity. Surveillance types. Benny moved toward them slowly, hand resting near his belt, not for a badge, but a baton. "You fellas new in town?" The taller of the two smirked. "Looking for someone." "Yeah, you found him." Benny smiled without warmth. The man's smirk vanished. "We're not here for you." Lana stepped between them. "Gentlemen, it's not open hours yet. You'll need to come back later." "You Lana Quinn?" "Depends who's asking." The shorter one reached into his coat. Lana tensed, but it was just a card. Black, no logo, no number, just a QR code. "We'll be back tonight," he said, with or without permission. The door shut behind them like a threat. Back in the office, Clay leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "You think these guys are after your father, too?" Riley nodded. "Not just him, what he designed." Angie peered in, uninvited. "You might want to see this." They followed her to the bar counter where Marcus had pulled the hard drive from under the register. "This wasn't ours," he said. "We run everything through Cloud POS." Lana took it. Black casing. "Heat scars on the port." Riley hooked it to his tablet. The screen flickered, revealing strings of code, encrypted data, flickering lines that looked more like blueprints than bar tabs. "It's a ghost protocol," he murmured. "Real-time tracking system, military grade." "Tracking what?" Clay asked. "Not what," Riley corrected. "Who?" Night fell again and brought with it a strange current. The bar filled slowly, mostly locals. But there was tension, like everyone knew something was coming. Benny stood by the front, Marcus behind the bar, Angie flitting between tables, charm disguising a wired tension. Clay stayed seated at the corner, eyes watching every reflection in the mirrored wall behind the whiskey. At 9:02, the strangers returned. They didn't ask permission this time. Lana stood tall. The taller man stepped forward. "We want the drive. It's not here." He pulled a gun. 3 other patrons stood with him. They were plants embedded in Ashridge for weeks. Riley emerged from the back, holding up his own badge. "You don't want to do this." "Too late," the leader said. He grabbed Lana by the arm. That's when the floor behind the bar exploded. It wasn't a bomb, but a device rigged beneath the old floorboards, set to trigger under digital surveillance. Riley dove, gun drawn. Benny tackled the closest plant. Glass shattered. Patrons screamed. Angie ducked behind the cooler. Smoke filled the room. In the chaos, the leader grabbed the drive from Riley's bag and bolted. Clay was faster. He caught him by the jacket and slammed him into the bar. Not tonight. Lana retrieved the drive. Blood on her sleeve. She didn't care. Outside, sirens wailed. The men were arrested. IDs fake. Vehicles untraceable. Riley exhaled. "We've only scratched the surface." Lana glanced at the drive. Her father's initials were etched on the underside. "Then we go deeper," she said. 3 days had passed since the firefight at the Rusted Tap, and the bar had been shuttered temporarily. Police tape hanging limply across the entrance like a wound not yet closed. Inside, the smell of smoke lingered. Lana stood at the back wall, her father's drive in hand, wondering if reopening meant more than just business. Riley sat nearby, sifting through the decrypted data with Marcus. They had decoded barely half of it. Covert transactions, high-level communications, and a web of black sites connected by a program called Echelon Loop. Lana's father had created the algorithm to track corrupt surveillance programs, but someone else had turned it into a weapon. Clay stood watch at the front door, while Benny quietly made calls to contacts he hadn't spoken to since his precinct days. Angie worked the kitchen, trying to clean what hadn't been burned or broken. That night, everything came to a head. Just after midnight, Lana received a message. Unmarked envelope. Slipped through the back door. Inside, coordinates, a burner phone, and a photo. Her father alive. "I'm sorry," Riley said. "This wasn't supposed to happen. I think he's trying to bring it all down from the inside." "Then we help him," Lana said. They followed the coordinates to an abandoned train depot just outside town. Clay insisted on driving. Benny rode shotgun. The rest squeezed in back. As they approached the location, headlights appeared from the other side. 4 black SUVs lined the entrance, forming a perimeter. Armed men stepped out. "Federal?" Lana asked. Riley squinted. "Not unless the feds swapped their uniforms for corporate security." The team ducked behind a barrier. Clay pulled out his concealed pistol. "We're not walking in blind." Lana activated the burner phone. It pinged once, then displayed a message. "Find the signal tower, top floor, 10 minutes. They split into 2 teams. Riley and Benny flanked left through the shadows, while Lana, Angie, and Clay moved toward the tower from the back lot. Inside the depot was a skeleton of steel and dust. The place hadn't seen a train in decades, but footprints in the dirt said it had visitors. Benny took out one guard with a chokehold. Riley covered him. On the other side, Clay silently disarmed another. They reached the stairs. Clay motioned for Lana to follow. She hesitated, heart pounding. At the top, an old radio tower buzzed with static. Monitors showed split-screen surveillance, footage of the Rusted Tap, footage of Ashridge, even inside her office. And standing in front of the monitors, her father. "Dad?" He turned slowly, hair white, beard longer, but eyes the same. "Lana," she rushed forward. He embraced her, hesitant at first, then fully. "You're alive," she said. "I had to disappear. They used me to build something I couldn't stop. I planted the ghost drive to draw them out, but they turned it into bait." Behind them, Riley and Benny entered. "Sir," Riley said, "we're out of time." From below, gunfire erupted. One of the guards had spotted Clay's group. Angie returned fire. Chaos ensued. Lana's father rushed to the terminal. "I can upload a kill signal, but I need a 5-minute window." Riley nodded. "We'll buy it." They barricaded the stairs. Clay took a bullet to the shoulder but kept firing. Angie dragged ammo crates into the stairwell. The countdown began. 5 o'clock, 4:30, Lana stayed by her father. What happens when it's over? They'll come for me again, but at least the system will be dead. 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock. The monitors began shutting down one by one. Every blackout meant a server lost. A network burned. At 0:14 left, the terminal sparked. Lana's father shouted, "I need a manual override." Marcus, patched in remotely, rerouted the signal from the bar's network. The upload completed. Silence. Then the tower's lights cut out. Below, the guards ceased fire. Confused, disconnected. Riley ordered them to stand down. The authorities arrived minutes later, real ones this time. Cleanup crews and government agents. Riley shook Lana's hand. "We'll protect your father now. Witness protection, clean slate." She nodded. "Just make sure he gets to live this time." Outside, the dawn broke over Ashridge. The Rusted Tap reopened a week later. Lana, Clay, Benny, Marcus, and Angie sat around the bar raising a glass. To survival, to truth, to last calls and second chances. And beneath the bar counter, a new hard drive spun, this time with eyes watching in the right direction.